Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. In this video, we'll talk about a man who has feelings that we've all had at some point in our lives. The feelings of being stuck and not knowing what to do, and a feeling of wasting your life. By the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys 3 ways you can go ahead and possibly get some money to come to the Philippines. So stick around. Here's the story. Sorry guys, I guess I'm just having a little bit of a pity party, but I can't sleep, so I figured I would just say what's on my mind. Every man has a story. That's what the saying is in the Philippines, right? I'm still living my story. All I want is to be able to come to the Philippines. I have my family here, but family is not always family, and I cut everyone off now. I'm homeless, working 2 jobs, just trying to save what I can. It's nothing but a heartache here in the US, and I'm so tired of the people here. It's literally making me sick. I'm only 43 years old, and there is no way I can stay here and wait for retirement before I come to the Philippines. I feel like I'm wasting my life here. I feel like I have nothing. All my friends, the ones that are actually real friends, are all in the Philippines. I talk to them every day, and it does help me get through, but I just want to be there with all of you guys. All I ever wanted was a family. I've been on my own in life since I was 10 years old. Life has been nothing but a headache and been kicked around my whole life. I guess the reason why I'm saying all this is because I'm wondering if anyone else is still stuck here in the US feeling the same way as me, or if any of you guys in the Philippines now experience the same things I'm going through now. How many of us can actually relate to that story? I'm sure many of us, even myself at 29 years old, I left Canada and I did not want to live there anymore because of everything this guy's talking about. I had this feeling of having no sense of purpose and not actually living my life. Even though I had a great job, a house, relationship, car, everything seemed to be good on paper, but deep down, I wanted something more. Now let's dive into some of the responses. Don't become broke in the Philippines. Sort your life out before you attempt any move to the Philippines. There's no social security here for locals, let alone for foreigners. Get behind in visa extensions, game over. Excellent advice. The Philippines is trying to take care of its own people because it's still a developing country. There's still a lot of things that need to be sorted out. They just don't have the resources to care for foreigners like you would in your home country. As a tourist, you just don't have some of those rights. Now, that is very true. I've done interviews of homeless men from the UK or other countries in the past where people just did not plan well maybe, or life wasn't fair for them. So if you're coming to the Philippines, that's the #1 thing you have to know is try not to come here without an actual plan, because you don't want to end up on the streets. Although the Filipinos are very kind people, they're very nice people, they'll try to do their best to take care of you. However, you can't just rely on the charity of other people. You got to do stuff by yourself in the Philippines. Another person's advice is you need a strong foundation before you can live as an expat, as there is no social safety net, and this is one of the worst places you can be homeless. Use that as motivation to build the strong foundation at home first, to give yourself the choice to come later. As much as I feel the original post's feelings of trying to leave a situation you're not happy with, coming to the Philippines and having those same problems just in a foreign land is not going to make the situation any better. If you want to come to the Philippines, you need to have a reliable source of income. And I'm going to tell you guys that in a few minutes, but it's true, you need foundation. You can't just simply get on a plane, come here, and think because you're homeless in the US, you're somehow miraculously going to make it work in the Philippines. You said you have several friends in the Philippines. Reach out to them. See if there's anything they can do to help you in some way, some shape or form to stay in the Philippines. The next advice is, in life, the way we handle different situations affects what we get out of life. The location can change, but for real difference, we often need to change what we do, how we do it, etc. I've had a good times and bad times throughout my life, but ever since I learned to trust God to look after me, I've had a great life, good strong family and stability. I hope this inspires you a little bit at least. Of course, having hope and having faith is really important. I believe in God myself, but I also believe in the fact that you have to do things for yourself. You can't sit around all day praying to God and hoping that He's going to do something for you. Look what's going on around the world. God's got bigger problems to deal with than you just as a specific person. I know some of you might disagree with me, but I just feel like God gave you the resources, the arms, the legs, the brain, the body to do something for yourself. You know, there's just one joke I heard a long time ago where somebody's drowning and a boat comes by. So he says, get in. And the guy's like, no, God's going to save me. So the boat goes away. Then a ship comes, says, get in. And the guy's like, no, God's going to save me. And then, so the ship goes away, and eventually like a cruise liner comes by and says, come on, get in. And the guy says, no, God's going to save me. Eventually the man dies and goes to heaven and says, hey, God, how come you didn't save me? And God's like, buddy, I sent you 3 chances to get saved, but you didn't want to. Similar situation, man. You have to like take care of yourself. I know it's not easy. I understand. Nobody wants to be in that dark situation, but trust me, do not come to the Philippines without a solid plan, a solid foundation, a source of income monthly, annually, weekly, whatever it is. Your savings will dwindle down to nothing. Believe me when I tell you this, because your savings can only take you so far in the Philippines. If you want to live a normal life, if you want to explore the islands, if you want to socialize, if you want to eat good and just travel a bit, your money's gonna go down to nothing if you don't have that being replenished at all times. Here's another response that should inspire this person, hopefully. At 43, I had just slayed my dragons a few years prior. Dead broke, no high school diploma, no future, no woman in my life, and stuck in LA, working for my brother-in-law as a laborer. Things looked bleak, kept at it, got my own truck and tools and started my own construction business. Took surf trips to keep my sanity, ended up on a surf trip to Samar, Philippines 2008 and knew this would be my forever home. 2011 started Earth Coco Inc. that got me stuck again in America. 2016 sold my company and made Philippines my permanent home. So don't get disillusioned. Focus on the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes hard to see, brother, but it's there. Use the light to keep you positive. And those dark days, no one ever thought I would make it. I'm a big believer that we're all on our own journey, right? Don't look at other people and where they are in their journey, because they may be somewhere we just haven't quite reached yet. We don't all start from the same line. We don't all start from zero. Some of us are born into privilege. Some of us have money. Some of us have a strong passport. Some of us are born into poverty. So it's not fair to compare yourself to anybody else. I understand the original poster that his friends are in the Philippines. Maybe he's looking at their photos. Maybe he's looking at their Instagram or Facebook and is wishing, oh, I wish I could be there. But you don't know what they've sacrificed to get there. Maybe it's just not your time yet. Like this person in the response, he was 43 years old basically when he started his journey on being successful. So it's never too late. Just keep faith, keep looking at the positive things in your life, and try to take baby steps, not big giant steps to the Philippines, but just start small. Have a small goal and try to reach that. Another person responds, don't be impatient and move to the Philippines without steady income. It's better to be poor in the US than to be poor in the Philippines. A great point. Poverty is rampant across the world. It's just different levels in different countries. In the US, I'm sure there are lots of welfare programs as there is in Canada. For example, you may have some kind of welfare, some kind of food bank, shelters, churches, organizations. There's going to be things that can actually help you if you're homeless. The Philippines may not offer you those things. I'm not really sure because luckily I've not been in that situation. So consider that before you come here. Lastly, someone says, it's very important you set yourself some goals and steps to get where you want to be. Many here will sympathize with you, and please take any advice well. I will be happy to help you setting goals, tell why these are important, how to create momentum for the steps you have to take while you build up the strength to go on. As I mentioned earlier, it's very important to set small goals because sometimes the end goal may be just out of reach right now. I just love how positive the responses have been. Although this came from like a positive minded group, it's just important to not give into that negativity, that darkness. Now here are my 3 tips for you if you want to come to Asia. Tip number 1 is to work for yourself online in your home country where you can actually travel to the Philippines and continue working while paying taxes to your home country. A lot of companies now allow you to work from home. Some may not allow you to take a laptop or a computer out of the country. So be sure to go ahead and ask about this question, but it's not impossible. I know of many people that work within their home countries but travel all over the world while still working the regular hours. So that's the first advice. So just look for something online, even if it's minimum wage in your home state. Believe me, when you come to Asia, that's going to be a lot of money, which means you can save a lot of money at the end of it. So your retirement plan, hopefully it's still there. Yeah, I know you have to still work, but at least it's going to save you some money and set you up for retirement in the future. So that's number 1. Try to get a job in your own company online, which allows you to travel anywhere and work from wherever. I know it's like a big ask, but these days, a lot of things are still being done online, which means you can go ahead and do that. Maybe you have to go back into the office once a year, twice a year. Who cares? At least you've made the first step towards trying to be in Asia. Tip number 2 is be an online English teacher. Now, when I say this, you don't have to have any qualification. Basically, the most some of these schools might ask is to be TEFL certified, which means teach English as a foreign language. You can get that diploma within 100 hours on any online course. And maybe not in the Philippines, but Vietnam is one of those places. China is another place. Not to get too political, I don't really care, but China is another place, as well as Thailand. Now these are all in Japan and Korea. That's companies that allow you to work online from anywhere, but are based in those countries to teach English, typically to younger people, anywhere between ages of 3 and 12. They just want a native English speaker. A US passport is going to get you a lot more money than a Filipino passport, for example, which, gives you a lot more options to travel. That's what I did when I first started. I was working my 9 to 5. I didn't like it, so I started working for a company that allowed me to work online. They didn't care where I was, so I started traveling to different countries to the point where I was able to do stuff on my own. So that's number 2. And lastly, number 3 goes back to teaching English, is to do it in Vietnam or Thailand. They pay you a good amount of salary, even if you have no qualifications, as long as you have a US passport. You don't even have to have an experience. You could also be a teacher assistant, right? So this gives you around 1,000 to 1,500 usually USD a month for a few hours a day just to show up in school. You could probably spend 1,000 of that just living, cost of living. I know it's not the Philippines, but at least you'll be out of your US state of mind, that Western mentality. And then you can go ahead and take trips when it comes to holidays, national holidays, school breaks, all that stuff. A great option to work at physical schools within Vietnam, Thailand, Korea. Korea might be a little bit more, what's that called? They might require to have a lot more education, like a bachelor degree, maybe some kind of teaching degree, all that stuff. But I know for a fact that Vietnam and Thailand will let you teach English to kids as long as you're a Westerner. Now, that may not be the ultimate end goal for you, right? That doesn't mean that you have a complete retirement, but it's a starting point. You never know what opportunities can arise from just traveling, taking a year off your 2 jobs, sir, and just trying to get away from that mindset. Hopefully puts you in a much more positive environment. And once you are in Asia, you might be open to and actually experience a lot more opportunities that you not usually get in your regular environment. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna go ahead and start a whole business out here, but you never know. Things can pop off. You can meet people, you can network. At least you're away from that darkness that you've been feeling lately. I hope that helped this person and some of you guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Anything you want to share, whether you agree with me, disagree with me. And if you enjoyed this video, take a quick second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.